Here's the beautiful black titanium iPhone 15 Pro Max that I regret buying. It's been 60 days since I got this iPhone and there's definitely some great things about it, but there's some cons that made me wish I would have chosen differently. So in this video, I'm gonna give my review of the black titanium iPhone 15 Pro Max and its new features and the reason I regret buying it. Going right into my review, the biggest new feature added to the iPhone Pros this year is a whole new button, replacing the mute switch to what Apple calls the action button. This is similar to the Apple Watch Ultra's action button where you can customize what it does. You can have it mute your iPhone, which is what it did before, but I recommend you don't be vanilla and actually use it for something else. You can activate it focus mode, which I think is pretty convenient. You can access your camera, which I think is pointless since the camera is already on the main screen. You can access your flashlight, which again is already on your home screen. You can activate a voice memo, which is actually kind of cool. It reminds me of Louis Litt from the TV show Suits, always using his dictaphone to record his life.
He's been peeing directly into our pristine pool of eliteness. Oh shoot, it's blinking out. Norma, really quickly, I need you to get a pack of rechargeable AAA. Shit, it's out.
You can choose the magnifier tool, which I've honestly never used. Then you can choose my favorite, which is to run a shortcut. This is definitely the most beneficial option to choose from because you can make it do a ton of different things depending on certain criteria. Then lastly, you can choose accessibility to activate an accessibility feature, or you can have it do nothing, which it's pretty crazy to choose. Might as well just remove the button at that point. But as I mentioned, I use the shortcut feature on my action button. Here's what my shortcut setup looks like. It first checks the current date, and if the current date is between hours 17 and 24, which is 5 p.m. to 12 p.m., it will activate my end work scene. The end work scene turns off all the lights in my office and it turns my focus mode off. Otherwise, if I click my action button between 12:01 a.m. and 4:59 p.m., it will turn on all the lights in my office and turn on my focus mode for work. And that, guys, is why shortcuts is the best option for the action button. If you guys want to see a whole video on shortcuts, how to make them, or the different ideas on shortcuts, then comment below and I'll get that done for you guys. The only thing I wish the action button did is give you the ability to do a single press, double press, or a long press so you can add more actions to it. This will make this feature 10 times better, so Apple, please listen and add this to next year's iPhone. The next new feature I want to discuss is its improved camera system, and I was able to test this out at a concert, my wife's half marathon, and the happiest place on earth, Disneyland. The main new camera feature is this new 5x telephoto lens. Unfortunately, this lens is only in the Pro Max version, which means the Pro only has a 3x telephoto lens like last year. But let me tell you, this thing is awesome. The detail you can still get with such a far zoom is pretty crazy. Obviously, the Pro iPhone camera system is always the reason people chose the Pro version. Nowadays, I don't even need to take a camera with me to get high quality content because our phones are good enough to get the job done anywhere we go. The Pro iPhones are, well, for the pros, and every year it continues to lean that way. For instance, this year Apple introduced ProRes video recording up to 4K at 60 frames per second with external recording. ProRes videos are high quality videos that are much larger files than normal. So if you have ever tried ProRes recording before, you probably experienced that after just a few clips, it takes up most of your storage. However, we can now use an external hard drive to save these videos directly from the iPhone to the hard drive. This is a huge feature for professionals wanting to get the highest quality content from their iPhone. And on top of that, the camera system now allows for log video recording. Log is pretty much a camera profile setting that's for most professional cameras, and it preserves more image information in the highlights and shadows, allowing for more flexibility in editing colors and contrast in post-production. And this next new feature came through all the iPhone lineups this year, which is USB-C, and I am extremely happy about it. Why I'm so happy is this allows me to use the same cord to charge my MacBook, iPad, iPhone, and even the new AirPods Pro 2. Not only that, you can reverse charge your AirPods from your phone. However, the iPhone 15 Pro models get USB 3 support, so they can actually transfer speeds 20 times faster than the typical iPhone. And now one of the biggest changes that Apple has advertised on this year's iPhone Pro is that it is made out of titanium. When I saw that, I was in awe, just like most people were, especially with this sexy black titanium finish. However, just like most people, I didn't really understand what having a titanium frame really meant. First off, titanium is noticeably lighter. Comparing the iPhone 13 Pro Max to the iPhone 15 Pro Max, I actually could feel the difference. That's because the titanium iPhone Pro Max is 221 grams, which in comparison to the iPhone 14 Pro Max, 240 grams. However, it is still heavier than the iPhone 15 Plus's 201 grams. It is also said to dissipate heat better than aluminum and is more resistant to corrosion. That is what they said, but in my experience, my iPhone has never been hotter. Apple claims this was a bug in their software and it had nothing to do with the iPhone frame and build, but even after a few updates, it is still pretty hot. On top of that, I've noticed one big detail, and this detail is the reason I regret buying the black titanium iPhone Pro Max. And I am not the only one who has experienced this issue, but videos testing the iPhone Pro models from fellow YouTubers like Jerry Rig Everything and Apple Track show that the titanium iPhone is actually less durable than its predecessor. So I was fooled when I heard the titanium is supposed to be stronger. I wanted to get it so I won't have to use a case at all, and what is off-putting is that this black titanium version shows scratches more distinctly than the other colors. I have already scratched it, and as you can see, the natural titanium underneath is peeking through. Also, the titanium edges compared to the shiny stainless steel ones before show way more fingerprints, especially on the black titanium iPhone. This is why, if I could have chosen again, I would have chosen the natural titanium color over the black, because it looks great and it will show wear and tear a lot less. But luckily, I've been sent an awesome protective case from the company Banks to help prevent me from messing up my iPhone even more. Their cases are made out of a dew point Kevlar, which is 5 times stronger than steel of the same weight. This thing is used on bulletproof vests, race cars, and even spacecraft. And the craziest part, it is still able to maintain a super sleek design and allows you to still use your MagSafe accessories. If you guys are in need of a case, I'll leave the link to the Banks case below. Right now in the holiday season, they typically have some really good discounts. Now for me, I will always choose the Pro version of the iPhone simply because of the camera system. Making content with my iPhone is awesome since I always have the ability to capture content wherever I am. However, if I didn't make content, the iPhone 15 standard version is actually a massive steal this year. It literally gets all the iPhone 14 Pro Max features like dynamic island, the camera goes from a 12 megapixel to a 48 megapixel, and it also gets a 2x zoom lens. The extra features like the action button and the telephoto lens are great, but not big enough reason to pay the extra money. The Pro Motion display in the Pro versions is such a minimal upgrade, and the always on display is definitely not worth it, as it drains your battery life significantly that I don't even use it. Outside of these features, this year's new standard iPhones are pretty much the iPhone 14 Pro from last year. And with iOS 17 release, the iPhone is now packed with some amazing new features. If you guys want to see those new features, watch this video right here on the right, where I go over 40 plus new features that came with iOS 17. See y'all in the next one. Peace.